I finally big chopped after transitioning for 13 months, so I've decided to create a video for you guys that are still transitioning and not sure whether or not you're going to big chop or when. I know it's a difficult and frustrating position to be in, so this video is for you, and I'm going to address a few questions you guys may have, and hopefully at the end of this video you guys will have come closer to a decision. Or you can transition for as long as you want. You can be short term for a few months or long term for a few years. It's all dependent on you. If you have broad strap length hair or mid back length hair and you're wondering how long it's going to take to transition your hair out, I cannot give you a straight answer for that. It's depending on how often you cut and how much you cut. Some people may cut an inch every month and some people may cut an inch every few months. So if you maybe you want to cut more if you have longer hair so you can get there quicker. If you're scared, start with a mini chop. I mini chopped 4 months in and it was a great decision. My hair grew back and I was like, okay, I know how to grow my hair back. I can cut as much as I want to. So if you're really scared, start with a mini chop, maybe 3 or 4 inches, and let it grow a little bit, and you might just decide maybe 2 months, 3 months later that you want to cut the rest. Wants to big chop, but there's really no reason to. I was that person. I was able to do all these styles when I was transitioning, and my hair was easy to take care of. So a lot of people say they get fed up and they want to cut, and that's why they big chop. I never got that feeling, and I know there's some of you out there who probably don't have that feeling. You know exactly what you're doing with your hair. It's, doing well. It's healthy. But you want to cut eventually. I say if you're like, okay, I want to cut, do something new, which was my thing, go for it. Because you're going to let the time pass, and then your hair will be long again, or, back to its regular length. And then you'll think back like, I wonder what I would have looked like. So just go for it, try something new, and then it will grow out and you can say, oh, I experienced that, I liked my cut. You start to speak it into existence. You're always going to be on the fence until you finally make that appointment or set that day that you're going to big chop. Because if you don't put your foot down and take that first step, which is the hardest step, then you're going to be on the fence for the longest time, like I was. But all you have to do is finally say, it's time, I want to do it. You set a time that you want to big chop. Say, oh, I want to big chop around October, November, December, at the end of this year. Start preparing yourself now. If you don't prepare yourself now, you may get there and still not feel like you want a big chop. Start preparing yourself now. I think that's the most important part, because if you're not preparing yourself, then you're just going with the flow, which is not bad, but you're just going with the flow, and you're going to keep transitioning because you're comfortable with it. A few things I did to prepare: on wash day, I would wash my hair and let it air dry, and I would pin back the strings to see what I would look like with a little short afro. Mind you, my hair, the way it looks now, looks nothing like the afro, but it kind of helps you figure out how you would look, with a small amount of hair on your head, with your face exposed. So that was one of the things I did. Another thing, I talked to my cousins. They supported me and helped me feel better about it. Like, oh, you should cut it. It would look cute. And I started, taking all that in, taking all the positive energy in. And it kind of pushed me forward to go through with it. So ignore the negative and find some people who are positive about your journey. And so you may want to look around at different products other people use. One product is not going to work for all, but it's good to know like what most people like, to know where you're going to start when you want to do your wash and goes or whatever, and what methods they do. So have a little background knowledge of how it is to be completely natural. But also, before you big chop, try and make sure that you're really good at taking care of your hair. Or if you are not and your hair is breaking, like your relaxants are breaking, you might want to go through and big chop now before it gets worse. When I big chop, my first impression was like, oh my gosh, this hair is like so much softer than my transitioning hair. So in my opinion, natural hair is softer, it's fluffier, of course, but it stays more moisturized. It's like, and another thing I noticed, it's super easy to part. I had the hardest time parting when I was transitioning, but now I can just like part on the spot with my fingers. Maintaining it and washing it is pretty much the same. Other than that, I like it. It's cute, it's different. There have been a few days this past week where I felt like, oh my gosh, my hair, like, I didn't hate it or regret my decision, but I was like, it's so frizzy and out of control. It looks like I didn't do my hair. But there's always a way to style your hair still. I was trying to do a wash and go and it wasn't working, but it's trial and error. So once you go natural, it's still trial and error. You've practiced patience being a transitioner. So take that with you and keep going. But I don't think it's anything that you will regret.